All right, going live. Just look on my phone. Live at 5, my friends.
Look at that.
Hey, it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
They're here.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Can you guys read this? Is it forwards or backwards?
Should be forwards.
I wonder about that.
We're doing a little, just trying something and got some other things I'm working. I've downloaded some software to make these where I can work from the computer. This is just something I'm doing, trying temporarily. Just a little something, make it a little better, but I'm gonna show you this. One of Brian from New York, he sent some emails and he's, we're gonna meet up with him when we get north.
How far north?
Somewhere like he's near Lake Erie, or the Erie Canal. But
that's gonna be next year.
Yeah, definitely. But he does. He's a boat captain. He operates a. This is some fish he caught. He operates a 30-foot Trojan Express International. It's fully rigged for Lake Ontario. He does trout and salmon fishing, and I guess this is his wife. What salmon?
Salmon, yeah, that's a big one.
Big old salmon that he caught. So I didn't know that. I can't show this and then see our notes at the same time. So we'll be working on this a little bit more as time goes on. Like I said, I have some software. Oh, that means my stand by just a second.
Your lives are doing a lot better than mine, that's for sure.
When my solar ain't charging, it's caused a little problem I got. I have to hit the button, just cut it on and off, and then it works. It's weird why it does that. But anyways, so what we're trying to do, the whole point of what we're trying to do here is bring y'all when people visit, and sometimes we have pictures we want to share live or whatever. We're going to have that ability. It's coming. So
it is neat because people come by a lot to visit when we are at places. We've had visitors here since we've been here, and it would be neat to be able to share photographs of those folks that things we're doing behind the scenes stuff.
Yep.
Because man, I mean, I'm a little bit behind on my videos. However, what's nice about this place is it's really quiet, and for the past 3 or 4 days, I just kind of like locked myself away in my boat, and I was able to get, I don't know, 4 videos done. I'm working on the 5th one that should be ready tomorrow. Actually catch a fish in that one.
Wow, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. It's a shame we're so darn busy.
So we're at Dallas Bluff Marina, near Shellman's Bluff. Everything down this, and I'll do you a walk around, we're done. Everything down this river is called a bluff. So the overall area is Shellman's Bluff. This is Dallas Bluff Marina. All these different bluffs all the way down. We're sort of between Brunswick and Savannah, closer to Brunswick than Savannah.
When I zoom out on Google Earth, all I see is Townsend.
Townsend, yeah.
Right. And that's McIntosh County. A couple things I've learned about this place.
When we leave here, which probably won't be somewhere about the weekend because of the wind. You notice how windy it's blowing outside.
Yeah, we're going to turn into weathermen. We got a high pressure building over here. We need maps, to describe. But it's causing a lot of winds and this and that. So it's kind of it's difficult to move when it's blowing stink like that. And one of the reasons I don't want to go anywhere is because I'm in the market for an anchor.
Very good.
I've drug anchor a couple times. Maybe I spoke about it on these lives, maybe not. But there's been some hairy situations because of my little puny anchor. There's nothing I can do about it. It's just, Actually, there is something I can do about it. Yep. And I'm in the market. I'm hoping in a week's time or so I'll have myself a new 44-pound anchor and maybe some additional chain. That would be pretty sweet because there's that and the anchor snubber. It's boring boat stuff, but the new snubber and the big anchor ought to make me sleep a lot better. So.
Yep.
So for that reason, we're waiting until the wind subsides a little bit before we move up to Savannah. We're gonna stay at anchor in Savannah.
Yeah. Well, we do plan to go to shore one day to tour it.
Okay.
But as always, we try to, unless there's some crazy cheap place like this place, but I don't foresee that up there. But we might go ashore a day. Savannah's a cool place.
There's some things you can't really anticipate either, like the tides, which here are 8 to 10 feet. That's substantial.
Yes,
So even if the wind isn't blowing, the water is rushing past like crazy. So.
Yeah. This ain't the Gulf Coast, I can tell you that.
Yeah, that's why I'm working on a snubber for my anchor, which lowers the attachment point of the boat to your anchor, and creates a shock absorber because mine is stretchy shock cord made out of 5/8 shock cord, I think.
Huge difference.
Huge, yeah. You're not banging or it's not popping on the roller at the end of the pulpit, and then of course a bigger anchor is going to help as well. Many people around this area, I never got comments like this in Tampa, but around here, people see your anchor, they're like, "That's all you got?" I'm like, "What? It's not big enough?" Obviously not.
Yeah.
Not for Georgia.
Yeah, it's a different ball game for our peeps back home.
Mm-hmm.
Those of you that live on the East Coast, you already knew it, but
yeah,
you just have to really pay attention to the winds. You have to really pay attention to where you're anchoring for tides, because otherwise,
yeah. Couple that with the fact that we're stuck out here, pretty much no matter what.
Yeah.
There's not like, oh man, the wind's blowing, let's go back to the marina.
We were lucky to get to this marina when we did. Like, we literally, it started raining on us not 2 miles from here. Coming in, that front was blowing up, coming in, and
It hasn't rained since.
let me turn this camera around because now that we don't have this, I can't. We could be talking to ourselves and I wouldn't know it. Let me turn this around.
Uh-oh. What's happening?
No, we're not talking to ourselves.
Okay, that's good.
That's good news.
Let's say we move this TV back. Can we do that?
You can set it on the floor. All right, hold on, guys. Let me.
Reevaluating. It's not a Joe Rogan pack. Okay,
Yeah.
We're a little,
Although I am working on it, we're getting better. There we go. That's a lot better. At least we know we ain't talking to
yeah, I can
ourselves.
see myself.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to. I kept thinking I'm getting texts going. Somebody's calling me, texting me to say things can't see us or something like that. But so Kontiki, what about? You talk about Death Finder?
No, I think I mentioned. I know I filmed it, and I complained in the videos that I filmed, but I don't know if they were out yet. I don't know if I mentioned it in the Live at 5, but I got this beautiful Lowrance chart plotter, fish finder, depth finder, whatever, and the depth finder part has been intermittent, which is not too cool, because when we're underway, sometimes Mike would be up front, sometimes I'll be up front, and you want to make sure that you've got depth, and the depth finder is obviously a very good tool. Mine works 50% of the time, especially when we're looking for an anchorage. The depth is very important. You don't want it too deep, certainly don't want it too shallow. So anyways, I was getting a little frustrated with that, so I ordered a new depth finder, and that's all it is. It's a Lowrance, but it's like a little teeny tiny thing. It's not a chart plotter. All it does is tell you how deep it is, and it gives you a little screen that tells you that there's fish or not, and whatever. Depth is what I was concerned with. And for like $100, I got one, and I installed it today. I daubed some silicone in the hull of my boat next to the motor, and I stuck the transducer in it, and quickly tested it, and it worked. No problems. So I go through the effort of snaking the wire and putting it all up top, mounting it, turn it on as well as the big Lowrance, and all of a sudden things are not working. It was working and now it's not. And now I got two depth finders that don't work. So anywho's, it's come to light that you can't have two transducers, the things that make the sonar. You can't have two of them on one boat. If you do, they have to be much different frequency, and preferably one in the bow and one in the stern. Mine are like right next to each other. So I'm gonna have to disconnect the one on the chart plotter and use that for just charts, and I'll use the small one for depth. And maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Stupid electronics. If it's not gas engines giving me issues, it's electronics.
Yeah.
I say we kayak around the rest of the trip.
We need to be
Just
like
paddle.
Will and
Noah.
and be on them freaking kayaks with
Yeah.
those sails.
Sure, man.
Be a lot cheaper. I think life would suck a little more though.
Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes it wouldn't.
Yeah.
It's
As
freaking-
far as it's simple. Well, y'all will
Yes.
see one day what we're talking about.
Yes.
But it's a couple of weeks.
Although I don't really post on Facebook that much anymore, the name of my Facebook page, my public page, is pretty apropos. It is Love Kayak Fishing. I don't have a Love Gasoline Engine Cruising Boats channel, nor do I have a Love Electronics channel, because, yeah, it's a big pain in the butt.
Alright.
What else
Yeah.
we got to talk about? I don't know.
Good times. I fixed my windlass.
Uh-huh.
Y'all know the windlass quit working, the 6-month-old windlass. It was really like 9 months old, but it's only been on the boat for 6 months. It was in the box for 3 months. So I can say with good news, and I'll make a video completely about it, but the Lamar is the maker. I called them. They were responsive. First, we thought it was the actual motor, but I called a repair technician that is for them in Jacksonville, and he said, do this, this, and this. And the test to do before you pulled the winch off, and this is for y'all if you're having winch problems to determine whether it's the winch or something before it. But the definitive test before you take the winch off is to put power directly to it from the battery that you know is a good battery. And it worked.
Bypass the solenoid.
Bypass everything.
Solenoid is what
Yep.
you're bypassing. The little tiny solenoid, you can run a tiny wire from that way up to your helm to signal the solenoid to send power to this side or that side to go up or down, instead of having a massive wire going up and down, because copper is expensive. And that's
Exactly.
the reason for the solenoid, but they're prone to failure.
Yep.
If anybody out there ever had a starter problem in their car, and you gotta smack it sometimes, it can be like a bad solenoid sometimes on a starter. It could be the motor too. A sticky, well, I think when you smack it, it's a sticky something or another.
Yeah.
But I've known, on my Ranger, just before I left for this journey, I had a bad solenoid, because you turn the key and nothing happens. And then you keep the key in the on position, and all of a sudden by itself, you hear the engine try to start. And that was a bad solenoid. We replaced it and turned the key, vroom.
The solenoid was bad in the dinghy. That was one. I replaced the set. Solenoid was bad in this. Solenoids and coils seem to have issues. Solenoids and
Yes, that's your.
solenoids and coils.
Yep. If you have a motor that doesn't start, aside from setting it on fire and throwing it in the ocean and getting rid of it, I would suggest checking the solenoid.
Yeah. So I got my windlass working good. That is super important. The reason that's so super important, this is a captain's corner thing, is when you're on any boat, trust me, any boat, but especially when you're in salt water where there's major tides.
And you're by yourself.
Yeah, yes, especially but but you got to have a way of stopping your boat. Your emergency brake is your anchor.
Right.
When crap goes south and you got to stop, you got to have a good anchor to stop. And surprisingly, so many people that don't have anchors. I can tell you, it's unbelievable how many people don't have anchors on their boat, and that would terrify me, because if something goes south, you can't even stop your momentum. So, anyways, now what he's talking about is, I can anchor, and I have been anchoring and getting it up by myself. But trust me, it's hard.
It's a different. Oh my God!
It
it's
is
a different
like-
channel.
You got to lay in that. You're pulling 18,000 pounds, toward, and if you're in wind and tide, it's a mess. But
I've seen him do it. I'm up in my fly bridge and I hit a button and my anchor goes up, and then I look over and I see him up on the front of the boat hauling this thing, you're putting your weight into it. And you're grabbing your anchor line, and I'm like, man, that guy's working.
trying to be careful that because what happens is you put all your pressure into it that you're not leaning, because when that thing comes through, then you go backwards. So
and then you fall overboard and you're done.
Then your boat goes out to sea, and good times out floating around on bar. So
the things that go through your mind when you're on a boat.
Let's see. So anyway, so I got that, and especially talking about all that pulling when the thing is brand new, I was pretty aggravated. But you know, it is what it is. It's a boat, and it's parts and stuff's always going to happen.
And you dealt with it. However, you know,
we solved it.
You don't want to work too hard because injuries can be really really bad.
Especially with just single-handed like we're doing.
Yeah, we have spoken to a couple of cruisers who somebody on board slipped and fell and had broken bones, and it put a terrible damper on their trip.
Yep.
So we want to avoid that at all costs. We have 3 points of contact. We move very slow and methodically. So
you'd think we was real old people.
Yeah.
The way that, but you know, there ain't nobody to circle back and get you. If you get up, just like if I'm up top, when I'm coming down to walk down below, I am super conscious that if I was to happen to slip and fall over, this boat, who knows where it's going.
It could be in gear, still moving.
Still moving, and you got to really, when you're single-handed, you got to really be careful. Take your time. I can't tell how many times I had premonitions that you'd fall down the hatchway coming in and break your leg and you can't move, and you'd have to drag over to the tag yourself like a movie to get to the kill switch, and then you're still floating.
Yeah.
We've even talked about
you hear me on the radio says, Mike, what are you doing? And you're like, I can't answer because I can't reach the radio.
Yeah, we talked about how you try to snub up to the next boat. Try to tag them if you could, but if you can't, just push them towards the least dangerous area, whatever that might be. But anyways, hopefully none of that craziness happens.
Let's hope. We only have like 3 or 4 months left before we're in New York, so.
Yeah. So other than that, I'll go over some questions, and we'll read some questions and answer some questions.
I got a question. You got a giant thing of peanuts there. What is that? Can you show that to people?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Oh, it's open.
Oh, you already got into it.
I was going to say, what the size of that can?
This is the way you buy the Cajun peanuts. Those have had these. You know what I'm talking about. These are the ones that you pay $3 for a quarter, not even a quarter of that in the store, and this is like $7. I'll eat off that thing for a couple of weeks.
And you just open it up and it doesn't go bad or good?
Well, you'd put them in the refrigerator. I just opened them earlier. But I got
peanuts.
While on that topic, that butt that we smoked at the last meeting, it was in the freezer. So I got that in the crock pot. We're going to have that for dinner. That'll be real good.
Very nice.
That and some tater tots. Found that you put them tater tots on that grill up there, and they work. They taste really good.
You guys know the crescent rolls? They come in like a tube, and you pull the paper off, and it pops, and then you kind of have to roll them out, and you put them in the oven for 2 minutes, and they're not done yet. You put them in for 3 minutes, and they're burnt to a crisp. You know those? I got some on the boat because he says that I can make them on the barbecue.
Oh yeah, I did some biscuits the other day. Yeah. Oh man.
And the next Live at 5, I'm going to be terribly sick.
Oh, they're good.
I love them, man. I love them. Got butter. Yum, 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 yum.
Let's see. We all see the blinds. Yep. I'm going to stir it around.
Huh? Really? The whole time?
No.
Oh,
just at the beginning.
Those are Venetian blinds? Those are Georgian blinds now?
No, they must have been seeing them for a while. Wonder what. Was it whenever we were, when it was waiting? Got a boat coming by.
Oh boy.
They've been fishing a lot. We've been seeing them.
Yeah.
Must be a guide.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird because we're over on the dock. The bank is only about 50 feet behind you. And the channel is all the way on this side. Matter of fact, if you go too far that way, you'll drown. How deep was it? You said it was...
where we are right now, according to my new fancy depth finder, it's like 22 feet.
Yeah.
But, you know, a short ways over there, you could be ankle deep.
Yeah.
Fun spot.
They were talking about, somebody said, Anthony Villa said we were both naked or something. That thing must have been on like the whole time or something.
Like I said, it's not a Joe Rogan podcast. We got a little, fixing to do before things are running really good. The beer was delicious, though.
That went on for a while. Is that when we had it?
Oh my God. You know, my buddy Richie.
That's why I turned it around.
See if he's out there. Yeah, right. He told me he would just listen anyway, so maybe he didn't miss anything, except the pictures. The folks that probably didn't see the photos of our captain buddy by Lake Erie.
Surely they did.
Surely, absolutely no problems. Maybe did they?
Kind of seems like it's froze, but it's live.
I see me. I see me. Are you seeing questions? I'm gonna get another beer.
Right. Somebody comment, is it live? I mean, it shows live there, and surely you can see us. Somebody just comment at.
Ooh, look at that.
I know it's live. I can see myself.
I wish you guys could see.
William Adams asked, "Have you mailed the books?" Yes. Matter of fact, I have a thing in my pocket with the tracking information. I'll send y'all the tracking information. It actually went out this morning, though. Everything went out this morning.
I was there waiting in the truck when he was at the post office.
Live.
Interesting
Yeah,
people
live.
interesting people at the post office.
Oh yeah. Let's see. Yeah, it's live. I don't know what something happened, but all right. There's a couple questions there we'll respond to.
You see what happened was.
Has the breakdown in the fuel supply affected the marinas at all? Not that we can tell.
No, we drove around today, and I wondered. We passed many gas stations, and they were empty.
Yep.
Nobody there.
Not empty of fuel, empty of people.
Empty of people.
Pumps
yeah.
were full.
Yes, right. Thank you for correcting me. And I did wonder too, because our modus operando, or whatever you call that, is to go to a place with a bunch of cans, and it seems like we're hoarding fuel, but we're really just getting fuel for our boats. We've been doing that for months now.
Yeah.
So when this happened, I thought to myself, oh my God, we're going to go to a gas station with our gas cans.
You'll cuss
and
us
people
out.
are going to be looking at us like, look, there's your problem.
Yeah, because I already seen pictures on Facebook like that.
Yes, yeah, right.
We're like, dude, we do this every day.
At least we're not putting it in 55-gallon drums or 5-gallon buckets.
So no, like on the marinas, the cost wasn't crazy either.
No.
For those that didn't catch it, we did fuel at a marina
It's a
for
myth.
the first time the other day.
Just like the masks. It's a myth.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is that a lot of Atlanta did have it, like places, some of the bigger cities, but it's like everywhere. When you get out in the country, you don't. It's just not a thing.
It is not a thing. A lot of things not a thing in the further we move up. That'll change.
Dean Fulford, do you think you'll be in North Carolina before winter? Yeah, I think so. Again, we're on schedule.
Yeah.
We're in Georgia in May. June is South Carolina. We're going to be ahead of schedule, I think.
We're gonna have to move more often if we're in North Carolina, though, because it's a bigger state.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Not too much bigger in South Carolina, though,
but bigger than Georgia.
I suspect even if we run the inside, looks like the winds are laying down about Friday, that we're probably,
I don't want to move on the weekend.
yeah, we try not to move on the weekends, but it looks like it picks back up Monday is why I'm saying that. So we may want to be, we'll let you know, but we're about, and of course Savannah is the line for South Carolina. So like we literally when we're there, we're basically in South Carolina. So
Yep. We're going to be, when we were moving here, I should say, we moved when there was nasty weather out there, and there was nobody on the water, except yellow flies. Aside from them, we had the place to ourselves, it seemed, and it was a very, very pleasant ride. Just for hours and hours.
Yeah.
We were running away for 10 hours, and we saw 4 or 5 boats.
yeah, because we were in the backcountry.
And we were moving when there was crazy weather,
Yeah.
and it was like Wednesday.
Yeah.
Perfect. I worked in construction for many years, and sometimes we'd be out on a job site, and it'd be gray and it drizzly, and everybody complain about the weather, and I'm like, it's so nice. It's Florida. It's not dreadfully hot. It's beautiful working weather. As long as it doesn't bucket down and you're soaking wet. It's nice actually when it's a little gloomy looking outside.
Yep.
So
definitely less boats. Everybody runs for the hills when it starts raining.
Yeah. Yeah, and we can do just fine in our big boats if the wind's blowing. We need to take that into consideration too.
Yeah. So I actually took down my sides and my front, the plastic. I guess I'd rather get a little wet as I did Friday, but the downside to having that full, especially now it's getting warm, but the windage on it is very strong. So I think I maybe won't. I'll keep it on the boat, the front, because if we just get in something crazy. But as a general rule, I won't even run with mine anymore. Although it's been cool, like it's been where you'd probably, but probably with a jacket, I'm fine. You know how it is. I don't get.
Depends. When the wind lays down and the sun is beaming into the fly bridge with the plastic up, it gets unbearable.
Yeah.
For me, I mean, for the dogs, it would be even worse.
And I get hotter quicker, so.
You're right, though. We'll have to get used to getting wet.
Yeah.
We haven't gotten to that segment yet.
No, and to be honest with you, going slow like this, I'm very familiar with Florida weather, but I used to live in South Carolina, from South Carolina, but I wasn't a boater then, so I couldn't tell you. I don't remember, though I've been up and down the East Coast, but generally in a fast moving, not fast, but 40, 50, 60, 70 miles every day. So you made a trip pretty quickly. We're not doing that, so we're really encountering the weather.
Yeah. And hurricane season officially started on the 15th of May.
So we definitely want to get north. My major reason for getting north, so don't get hot on us. But we've been blessed with some, what is it? It was in the 60s, it's still getting in the 60s. And
sure.
I think we're high enough that we're not going to experience too much heat if we keep moving like we're moving.
I watch, I follow Mike's weather page, not this Mike, but a different Mike, an amateur meteorologist on Facebook, and he was a great value when storms like Irma came through. People around here got affected by Irma terribly. We kind of got spared, but we got scared by it, but we were spared the worst. And anyways, I watch Mike's weather page to this day, and he's starting to stir, kind of like a bear coming out of his hibernation. Putting posts out there like, just so you know, the weather's starting to change. There's high pressure systems, the water's getting hot, all the factors are there that typically can make things start to stir up. So he puts videos or photos out there on Facebook that show, like, it's supposed to get really, really hot next week or something in Florida. And the map kind of stops where we're at. So I'm like, we're going to avoid that hot weather. Yeah. That's freaking awesome. So we're at a boundary level right now. So we're not really quite sure what we're going to experience as we head north. But I do know, and I've watched many, many storms just right up the East Coast, as far as New York, like Sandy, messed a lot of my friends up in Long Island. So I'm aware of the fact that we could, in Potentia, have much worse things to worry about than a 30-mile-per-hour blow. Try not to worry.
Larry asked, are we going downtown Savannah? Yes, definitely do a quick walk through. I've been there a few times. I don't know if you've ever been in there. Really cool city.
Yep.
Everybody's, people from Florida, everybody, they go to Savannah for the weekends. It's definitely a destination point. Although I got to tell you what, a lot of places are destination points if you go, like you rent a bed and breakfast, and you go there, they're pretty cool, but when you're on a boat, you kind of want to be in the less populated areas because you can't get marinas. They're expensive. Mm-hmm. It's just too many boaters. So we actually try to get off the beaten path. those seem to be the nicest places.
Yeah, Dallas Bluff right here where we're at is really nice. Driving on land, coming south, a lot of times I would go from New York to Tampa, Florida. Straight run, 19 hours. We were there. And sometimes we would stop at south of the border. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Where is south of the border exactly?
It's North Carolina and South Carolina.
Okay. So we're not there yet.
Nope. It's a big tourist trap.
Yeah.
It's a
You-
tourist trap.
you-
For miles. They spend so much money on those
Yeah,
signs.
the billboards, yeah.
Good
How many
God.
of you guys have done that trip where you're going down
You know what we're
I-95?
talking about.
Yeah, and you see a billboard and it's like, Pedro says it's only 100 miles to south of the border. And like, who's Pedro? What's south of the border? And then you see another one, be like a car stuck to the billboard. It's like, make sure you stop short at south of the border. And then it was one after the other after the other. Eventually, by the time south of the border showed up, it had its own exit and everything on I-95. We were so intrigued.
You had to.
You at least looked as you drove past it. But we did stop a couple
I
times.
always thought how, even as a kid,
I got stickers.
it's not very big for the amount of money that they spend on them during
Usually pretty empty too.
billboards. I don't know how it's been around for years. If you ever go down 95, you know what we're talking about.
I guess we're going to be pretty far from it if we're on the water.
Carolina Beecher says the pipelines were basically affected in the fuel in the Carolinas and Virginia, according to the talking heads. Yoper says, wear 2 tank tops when it gets cold. That's my kind of thinking. Heck
Socks and Crocs,
yeah.
right?
Hey, long as it ain't socks cold, I'm good.
Right.
When it gets socks cold, that's a little different ball game.
Yeah. I haven't thrown my jackets away yet. I'm scared.
Let's see, Grampy Smith says you can easily adapt a wireless winch remote for the Windlass, to which you can control the winch remotely. Here it is, Amazon link for the unit that I bought. I actually, I think I actually still have it. But
we already got wires run.
yeah,
so
the
the wires aren't going to be bad.
I wonder if he's talking about where if you fail and you had it on you. I'd probably be more willing an engine shutdown, but I get what you're saying.
That would be cool.
Yeah. You know what? Whenever I was installing mine, I actually reordered a switch because when I first started installing mine with the remote, I'm like, I don't trust it. It's too. I just rather have wires, solid mount wires, and so.
That brings to mind, I remember going down the highway once and I saw a brand new, I don't know what year it was. It was a Corvette, beautiful, shiny red, stuck on the side of the road. And in my memory, which is fuzzy sometimes, but I remember hearing that guy got stuck because his fly-by-wire throttle cable, like a fuse broke or something. So here he is, he's on the side of the road, everybody's flipping by him in their old POS cars, and he's got this brand new Corvette with this brand new invention where you step on the gas pedal and it affects your throttle body or whatever via wires, but it wasn't working. And I'm sure it's a great thing when it works, just like the spot lock on trolling motors. When that first came out, everybody talked about it. And usually what they were saying was, it's really awesome when it works. So I'm jaded. I'm Grampy. I got to tell you,
I'm the same way.
I'm skeptical.
Yeah, me too. So here's a great question. This is a really good question. And he's talking about docking. I'm going to read the question, but then let me tell that quick docking story.
Okay.
The stress can be unbelievable. But Jack Anderson, how do you guys deal with stress of docking? I have a 45-foot motor yacht, and I stress so much when docking it frustrates me. All right, it frustrates everybody, brother. So don't let people fool you. Some can keep it cooler than others, but
On the outside,
but it is the most stressful experience. That's why dropping anchors is so nice, because you don't have to approach a dock. You just drop an anchor and pick it up in the morning. But let me tell you a story. Marathon, Florida, coming into the dock, I got 6 people on the boat, some friends, and I'm coming in and I'm going very slow. Key number one is go as slow as you can because this happens.
As slow as you want to hit the dock.
Yes.
That's how slow you go.
Because this is what can happen to you. So I'm coming in. I push the engines to neutral just to see what the wind and the tides are going to do. And one engine doesn't go to neutral, and I'm like, and the approach, now the docks is coming. I'm only about 20 feet away. Everybody's looking at me, and everybody on the dock has gathered to look because everybody knows that the docks are where the stuff happens.
Yeah, sure.
From the top, I do a once down and hit my switches to kill the motors. Fortunately, I didn't crash the dock. Long story short, a little C-clamp popped off the transmission and the cable just slipped off. That's all it was. It was a super easy fix, whatever, but that's the kind of stuff that happens. My advice to you is there's a couple things. Number one, you don't automatically know this until you've docked a few times. Coming into a dock when there's no wind and no current is a piece of cake. It's easy because you can tell what the boat is doing a lot easier. But when you come into a dock that has current and wind, it is very hard. But even in that is you approach the dock and about 50 feet out, go to neutral and see what the effects are doing to you. Because sometimes you think it's going to do one thing and it does something else. Current rushing under the boat will push you even though the wind is blowing you this way, and it'll throw you off. So just slow down, stop and see what it's doing, and then just roll with it. Whatever it does to you, keep your nose in and ease up to the dock as slow as you can.
Yeah, if the prevailing force is wind or waves, it doesn't matter. If it's pushing you south, put the bow to the north.
Yep.
And then you can easily stay put. I have a story about that. A friend of mine, Phil, that I met at Shell Point Marina, asked me to help him take his boat out. Me, I don't know. What do I know? I know patience at least. I know how to go slow. I know the importance of going slow and docking. So Phil was a pilot, so he's no dummy. But he wasn't used to boats. He wasn't used to currents and forces that are unseen. So I talk him out of the slip, out of the tight spot, and now we're out in the middle of the channel. And he's all like, "All right, let's go. Where are we going?" And I'm like, "No, stop. Time out. Make the boat stop." So he puts it in neutral and looks at me. I'm like, "Dude, we're not stopped." He points at the GPS. He's like, "Look, we're doing 0.2 miles an hour or something." I'm like, "Dude, if we were in the marina right now moving 0.2 miles an hour towards a pylon, you'd be freaking out. Make the boat stop." And he understood dead reckoning and stuff. And I said, "Look at that pylon and the land beyond it. Look at that pylon and the land beyond that. They're moving relative to each other." I said, "I want you to make that movement stop. Make the boat stop." And yeah, he got it. And he started playing with the throttles. And he was very much concentrating on what he was doing. And we were not going anywhere. But he was using a lot of skill that would later come into play when you're coming into a dock. Get the boat to stop. Whether the wind's pushing this way or the tide's going that way, that is where skill comes into play, making a boat stand still. I used to say all the time, a chimpanzee can throttle forward and zoom along and be a menace, going fast. That's easy. Children can do that. A good captain knows how to stop a boat in a crazy force, and you can practice that whether you're in a 45-foot boat, which hopefully has some sort of thruster on it, because that's a scary amount of momentum once it's going.
Yeah.
Or you're in a 20 some odd foot boat. How big was the boat that you helped tow my boat? Remember that little boat that you had, the center console?
Oh, 19.
19
and a half.
A 19 and a half foot boat, and you had one motor.
Yep.
And we went out one day, and I followed you. I think I was filming. But he said to me, "I need somebody to get in the small boat and drive out there." And prior to that, the only boat I'd ever driven was a 12-foot John boat with a tiller handle. And then I found myself in a 19-foot boat you had a decent-sized motor on there.
Yeah, 135
a 135 with a center console. And I was by myself on the boat thinking to myself, "Oh my God." The second I got away from the dock, all I kept thinking about is I got to get back to the dock. And I came in, everybody was distracted because Good Times was coming in and you guys were doing your thing, and I'm docking this boat by myself, sweating bullets. Oh my God, I was so scared.
Because the bigger boats are easy to dock when the
Single
engines
engine,
are running.
when doing this nonsense. I didn't like it.
Jack, I feel for you. I wish we could meet up and I could give you a lot of private advice. It's all I can tell you, brother, is stay calm.
And you're not alone.
Yeah, you're not alone, but stay calm because I won't divulge the story on here, but I have been on a boat with somebody that lost it and got up from the wheel, just quit, got up.
How about I'm done?
And I took over fast enough that I was able to stop it.
It wasn't
so
me.
it happens. No,
it wasn't me.
It happens.
Yes.
It does, and I can see why it happens. But
Sure.
you talking about fear when you realize you fixing to tear up somebody's boat, some other boats, or the dock.
Right.
At the bare minimum, your boat.
Yeah. I came into Moorhaven on a boat that I'm very familiar with. I've driven it quite a lot, and I'm coming into Moorhaven. He's standing on the dock, and I'm like, "Hi, how you doing?" And I'm just talking to him. He's standing on the dock. I'm up on the flybridge, and he's like, "You put it in neutral. Slow down. You're going too fast." And I realized, oh shit, I'm still in gear.
You was trying to get your camera.
I was filming.
You was trying to get your camera
Yep.
going.
By the time I put it in neutral, I already had enough momentum. I steered away from the dock, but I kind of hit rather hard. And
It wasn't too bad, but
no, to this day, there's a black smudge on my boat, and man. And then I would come into marinas during this journey, and I asked the dock hands all the time, "Am I the only nervous guy around here?" I mean.
No.
And they'd laugh, and they're like, "Dude, I've seen 80-foot boats come in with ripping tides and winds, sideways, crashing into boat after boat after boat, doing hundreds of thousands of dollars of damage, like that." I'm like, "Whew, well, at least I'm not that guy."
my buddy on here, Mountain Man Jim Reddick, we've had a very. You can tell the story sometime. He'll be on the boat up in North Carolina. Y'all remind me.
Cool.
And let him tell his story. He's been there.
Mm-hmm. Most people on boats have, so don't worry.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid. Just go out there and do it. I mean, Lord knows how many things that we're doing that experts will look at us and down their nose at us. Whatever. We're doing it.
D. Hosberg said, "I guess no that means no." I probably didn't see your comment about fishing. I can't say there's been a lot of fishing, been movement, boat projects. We did fish when we were at anchor back at, I fished, even in Cumberland. I fished a little bit in Cumberland. I didn't catch anything major. Did some fishing, caught some blue crabs.
D. Hasberg needs anchor advice. We can give you some tips, because I'm learning a lot about anchors, and I know you just got yourself a new boat, so.
Jay Hen, thank you for the super chat. Please buy some beer. Boy, we sure need that. So thank you so much. Yeah,
That's awesome.
Jimmy Reddick said, "I've been known to come in pretty hot."
Captain Ron Reddick.
And then Matt, find that sweet spot. Do a live at 5 on the back of the boat with a couple of rods. But okay. All right, thank you so much. So
that would be very
bait
cool.
money. All right, brother Will, I'll have that in my mind. We would do a lot more of them, and I keep struggling with the camera. I have bought 3 or 4 mics, shotgun mics. Can't get them to work on the phones, which is where we're streaming from, because usually the wind's the problem, and we're trying. As soon as we get out on the deck, people holler that the wind noise is.
Yeah.
But
I'm glad that the signal's good. It looks fine.
It was bad the other day.
We are in BFE, as they say.
we really are. Matt, we'll do that for you, buddy. That's a great idea. It'd be great if we could put something on the boat while doing that. So
Sure.
next time on Hook, that we try to do one like that, we'll do that.
Yeah. Make sure you get with DNR and pay them their money for your privilege to fish.
Yeah.
Before you do that.
Well,
I know somebody that
in
got-
Georgia.
No, we haven't.
Yeah. Well, I guess technically it was Georgia, but yeah, I guess so. Wouldn't a motor yacht have thrusters? Low Ready says probably.
What do you ask?
Wouldn't a big boat like that have thrusters? Not all, but should have. I'm sure it does. Yeah, brother.
I've seen some boats come in with single screws, big boats.
Yeah. But I can tell you,
Wow.
let me tell you from experience, the right currents and winds, it can just get away from you. I don't care how experienced you are, it can get away from you.
I watched the Cumberland Queen,
Yeah,
full
good
of people
point.
coming into Cumberland
Very good
Island.
point.
And that guy
Does it
does
how
the
many
same
times a day?
thing, same spot every day, same water, everything. And he came in a couple of times. And, you know, the wind got him, and he just.
Yep.
What do? You let the pylon stop you.
Yeah. So yeah, it
I was
happens.
like, oh my God.
Happy hours at Carmike. I'm down in New Baltimore. Been through the flight many times. Through the fight. I think he's talking about docking.
Oh yeah.
Hey Scott, says hi Mike Marty. Docking in Jack's was no fun.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yes, Jack's was at the free dock. That was a challenge for sure.
Yeah. We did good.
If I know, but I'm saying
We did a lot better.
some-
we saw
some.
some boats come in and rubbing other boats that were tied up.
That brings up a good point. It's probably, you know what? If the tide is ripping, you better off to wait. Like go out and drop the anchor, have a few more beers or something. Because sometimes the scenario is not good, or you don't have enough room, or there's too many boats, or the tide's ripping. Sometimes wait it out. That'd be your best bet.
Yes, and you know we've been guilty of this too. Sometimes you just got to make sure you communicate as best as you can with people that are on the dock, so that they're waiting for you, or accept help whenever you can.
Yeah.
We were at the free dock in Jacksonville, and a boat came in, and a bunch of people jumped out of their boats to help. And the captain of the boat, he refused help. He was like, no, I'm teaching a class.
Yeah.
Get away, get away.
Yeah.
And he shoot us off, and he was real nasty. And we're all like, well, dude, you know, just don't hit our boats. And he was teaching people how to come in to dock and refused help. And I think that's a bad lesson. The lesson should be that if you're coming into a dock and somebody's there offering help, take it. Many
Yeah.
people throw money at people like that. They're like, dude, thank you, here's a 20, here's a 20.
Yeah.
You know, at the very least, shake their hands or offer them a beer or something and say thank you. Because to refuse help at a dock when you're trying to, I mean, that was just foolishness. And it set me off. I was pretty angry. And he was nowhere near my boat, but man.
And always be the one to get up and walk down there and at least be there to offer the hand when the boat's coming in. Because sometimes you never know.
Yeah, there was no communication there. This teacher with people on board, and you notice that they didn't really get off their boat that whole night because I think all the passengers were embarrassed by the captain who was just surly, yelling and nasty. Don't do that if you can. If you got to raise your voice to be heard over the wind, that's one thing. But don't yell, don't curse, don't try to be calm, because your passengers and everybody around you is going to play on your emotions. If you're freaking out, everybody else is freaking out.
CAC7C says, Marty, it was good to see the videos from Titusville all over Canal. He has this place up there right there. So that was all familiar.
There was so much footage from that spot. And we could have, I mean, what a gem. What a gem of a spot that is. But for us, it was a stressful time. We both had motor issues, and we were in boats. Our boats were not designed for that spot. So, unfortunately, we had to just move on through. But, man, Mosquito Lagoon, I could spend, I don't know, several lifetimes there probably.
Yep. Jim says, I hate from Wichita, Kansas, family and friends. Axel, thanks for keeping my mind calm while living and working in a rat race. I hear you, brother. I was recently in a rat race, and all I can tell you is get away from the cities or get out on a boat. It is definitely a different way of life for sure.
It's a mindset.
It is.
You know.
Mark says, love you guys. Caught a trout and whiting today. Only fish I saw caught from the beach. Better than work. Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Bad day fishing is better than a good day working. For sure.
I've lived by that philosophy because I am not the best fisherman.
Hello, Paul, Rick. How much was Marty out of pocket after the double motor swap?
5,000.
About, you know, minimum.
Right.
Yeah.
New starters, new alternators, new carburetors. That was $1,000. The motors were $2,750 each. So well over 5,000. What am I talking about? I tried not to look because I might throw up if I. Kind of like a guy who's on a roller coaster is afraid and he keeps his eyes shut. And oh, you come to the end and you're like, all right, that wasn't so bad.
Clyde is talking about there's a limited way to go live with the GoPro. I've actually tried that, Claude, but I have the app on my phone and have tried that. May go back to it, maybe something dedicated, but I don't know. I'm trying to. What I do have, what I was telling you is, I've got the program loaded. It's just pretty involved to where it's made for doing lives. If this doesn't work out as well as I hope, I'm gonna order it as something that what was it called? The something deck, which is a system for doing these lives where you can push buttons and it just helps to make it easy. Every day we're trying to improve something or come up with it, but we're getting better and better.
Yep.
Chris Turner, have you guys been able to look at the footage from Kontiki Rescue in Cumberland? Have not.
I'm afraid to look at it, Chris.
I think it's good. I think it was good. I think it's going to end up being some good
saw
content.
that, and I was sick to my stomach knowing that I had drug anchor and my boat was on a sandbar, sideways-ish. Thank God it wasn't a sandbar or a rock bar. It was soft mud, but I had drug anchor and I was in a place that my boat shouldn't be. And I'm approaching it by dinghy with the camera going, and honestly, I was pretty numb to that. Like, you were freaking Superman without a cape. He jumped in the water, and with this Herculean
I really had to
strength,
pee really bad.
it was, see now I understand.
You didn't notice the yellow?
No, at least I was on board, thank goodness. No, the wind was pushing me up on the sandbar, and he got here and pushed the boat against the wind off of the sandbar while I pulled the anchor. And you talked me down. And that's another situation where that gentleman was talking about earlier about docking. Keeping a level head is extremely important. You kept an extremely level head. I thought I did a decent job, but
yeah.
you know, I didn't yell, I didn't scream, I didn't cry, I didn't make a big mess. But we just did what we had to do. What do we do?
We solved it.
What do we do? And
We
you
do it every time.
I should start the motors, right? I should really start the motor. Mike is like, don't start the motors. You might be on the mud. You don't want to suck mud up into your motors through the strainers. And he said, let me push you off first. And I was a little dubious, but I waited, and he pushed me off. I started the motors. Away I went. Problem solved.
And now we're going to be able to, I'm sure when he does a video, you'll get to see it. Hopefully you'll get to see maybe how to use your anchor to help you get out of that situation.
Maybe.
It's very helpful.
I don't know, but our friend Chris Turner was there in the dinghy with Mike filming, so that's what he's talking about.
There's good video of
He
it.
got some video of it.
Yeah. Forever Fixing says there's kits you can buy.
Forever fixing it. Like
Yep. Called Side Shift that puts thrusters in the front and rear.
I've heard people talking about putting thrusters on a swim platform. Sounds like a freaking winning idea to me.
Yeah.
Because
All it's got to do is work for it in reverse.
Well, yeah, right, correct. Yep, you have a little solenoid, which they never go bad, right? You have one.
Yeah.
Whoa, your boat's going sideways. How nice would that be? I tell you, if you can learn. Now, here's the thing. When I was 17, 16, whatever it was, I got my driver's permit, and I got my first car, and it was a 5-speed, because I needed to learn how to drive a stick shift, but it was a 4-cylinder, so I'm not really going to get myself in a lot of trouble. I learned to drive on that little car, and then eventually got something with a V8 that was a lot stronger, with a 4-speed, a lot faster, took a lot more finesse, but at least I knew the basics. If you can learn to dock a boat that's small, you learn the basics on a small boat and then graduate up, it's the same thing. You'll be a lot better off. Am I right? I mean,
Except I think twin engines are easier than single engines, believe it or not. But
I do.
Yep.
I agree. And that's where size doesn't matter, because you can start on a 31-foot boat with just twins, just twins, which are easier to drive than a single screw. And they'll be actually easier than a single screw, but if you get a 45-foot boat and you've got a bow and stern thruster and you're used to twin screws already, it should be easier, right?
should be.
Yes, your consequences are greater because there's more windage, and if things fail, you got to crunch things a lot harder. But I don't know.
Dan D. Hansberg, thank you, brother, for the super chat. Thank you very much. Didn't have a question, so if you have a question, put it in there. Let me go back to.
You know who DH is. D'Artagnan.
Oh, is it? Oh, I didn't. I can't ever keep up with.
This guy.
You'll know you are.
What are you doing? Forget about it. This guy over here.
What was the guy's name talking about docking? If you're interested in doing a meetup, especially if you're on the East Coast, send me a email at michaeljsteen.com. That'd be a great video.
Sure.
Be happy to meet up and come aboard, and we'll do a little bit of captain talking. Tell you.
We learn so much all the time.
Well, it's good for both of us. So
right.
If you're interested, reach out to us. Mountain Man Jim Reddick, he probably didn't see the last one. How's the dogs, Marty?
Oh, right. Yeah. Bayard's poop's still a little soft, but his spirits are up. The vet gave him a clean bill of health. And, yeah, I mean, for all intents and purposes, they're doing great. They're on medication and stuff like that still. They're almost off of it. They're both going through the treatments and stuff, but they're still dopey. They're still pups. They're still lovable, and everything is exactly like it should be. They shed, they bark, they don't listen. They're pulling all the time and eating stuff they shouldn't eat, but they're happy, and so this guy's happy too.
Happy Hours, Ventures of Happy Hours says, you guys do okay in the lock solo. You'll have scores of them on the trip through New York. Yep. We should be lock specialists by the time we come out. We need some shirts just for that lock specialist.
Yeah, right.
But you know what you were just saying, scores, I was thinking to myself,
20
it'd be cool if people scored us.
In my 5 score, I think there's like 100 locks. Scored us.
Like if we somehow had something where they scored us.
I give that log 2 thumbs ups out of 5.
Okay, here's an interesting Kamenik. When do you think you guys being upstate New York? I can pretty much tell you it'll be summer of 22. I work at the first lock on the Hudson. Hope I'm working when you guys come through. If you're able to send me an email, I would love to do an interview from the lock side and get the perspective of the
if he's allowed.
Yeah, if you're allowed. And I know how that was being a fireman. You had to get everything approved, but if you could get that approved, shoot me an email at mike@michaeljsteen.com, and that would be a cool video for everybody. Help what a lockmaster would expect from people. That'd be kind of cool.
And another deal as far as where we're going to be, we're approaching New York inexorably. So 3, 4 months, 5 months, I don't know how long it'll take, but we're going to be there, and we're going to need a place to winterize our boats. So there's certain questions, big questions that are coming up. How do you winterize a boat? Where should we winterize our boats? The closer we get, and the more people we meet that have been up there, tell me that staying in New York proper, like Long Island and stuff, is going to be expensive.
Sounds like we're going north.
If we don't find some generous person who has a dock that can, but then we're leaving our boats in the water.
Yeah, no, they got to come out. But
probably they come out, but then they get shrink wrapped allegedly, and they got to be winterized properly. So we need somebody to do that for us. We're really in the market for somebody who can steer us in the right direction with that, because we're both extremely naive when it comes to that.
Tommy from Happy Hours made a video about that, but I think probably based on some people telling some hot stories and numbers, it sounds like we probably will go up the Hudson a little bit to get away from the city so
Yeah.
that we get a better price.
I've heard there's places in the Catskills that are beautiful, close to provisions, and much, much cheaper.
And if anybody does have a hookup on a marina, we are definitely going to do videos about it.
Let me
So
know.
it'd be a good win-win.
Yeah, and our boat's going to be there
situation.
for months.
Yeah. So
Before the winterization, and then before the startup again in 2022. That'd be really cool to have a little inside information on that.
let's see. Lisa and Adam, don't feel bad. Marty returned home from work to find a blown water hose fitting blowing water in the yard for hours. Worked the plan and stayed the course. Good information.
I've had things go sideways in a house many times, so I feel your pain. At least it was outside and not inside.
Yep. Jim says, really enjoying. Where are you? We're in a place called Shellman's Bluff, if that helps you, but we're basically between Savannah and
I say it like this: we're 3/4 of the way up Georgia.
Yeah.
If you look at a map, we're about 3/4 of the way
yep.
in one of the little rivers there.
We're in BFE though, for sure.
Yep. It's nice. You know, E is nice. There's some, whatever. You know, the owner of the marina gave us some advice because I asked him. I said, "Is there any place to do laundry?" He was like, "No, you don't want to go to the places that he knew that were close by." He was like, "They're a little scary."
that was.
I'm a country boy. Hey, I'm working on being a country boy. I'm a city boy, but there are.
It's a great place.
Absolutely.
He's probably watching.
Well, I mean, he told us, but
Yeah.
he told us the truth.
He
was
gave
like,
us some good advice.
Absolutely.
Alan, you guys are out of Florida heat. Good times ahead. No doubt about that. That was I tell you, I went home for the weekend to get my second shot. My arm's still hurting. Didn't make my muscles look a little bigger, but I was looking at the weather when it was like 65 here during the day. It was 80 something, and I could feel humidity, and I was like, "Damn, I got to get back to the boat."
And we were driving through. Earlier, we went to Piggly Wiggly. I've never been to a Piggly Wiggly.
Piggly Wiggly. If you ain't from the South, you don't know what a Piggly Wiggly is.
Yeah.
It's it's bigger than a Dollar General, but smaller than a Publix, or it's definitely a small town
Yep.
supermarket.
Yeah, very neat.
Cool.
But we're going there and driving through. I didn't see anything scary. Again, there was a couple patrons at the post office that were questionable, but the town looked awesome.
Well, let's just say they working ladies. They got to work too.
Yes, but
the girl said I was standing back from her, and she's about 6 foot, and the counter opening's like this big.
she saw a big steam.
And I was smelling off some packages, and she turned around, and she's still standing in the counter opening. She said, "You can come up. I won't bite." And so I didn't move, and I didn't say anything. I didn't want to engage her too much. And then she turned around, and she said, "I ain't gonna bite." And I said, "Well, I can't get to the counter." And then she's like, "Oh," and then she walked out. Because she wanted to go talk to Marty.
No,
Marty
sir.
was in the truck.
Yeah. I got her number while you were inside. Forget.
Let's say there might be some meth addicts in.
Oh, no.
I'm just telling you the way it is.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you the way it is.
There is.
I worked many years in law enforcement. I know how to spot them, and that's what that was.
We passed a boat ramp that was small and amazing water. Everybody seems like they got a boat around here.
Oh,
and
that is.
The respect that I see from boaters going past the marina here who don't have to slow down. There's no law that says you got to slow down.
Yep. Even no signs.
I haven't seen a single boat go by fast. There is no signs.
They actually did one today, but he was way over there. But he just blew by. But we didn't get much on him.
No. That's okay. I did see somebody fly by in a pontoon boat, but you couldn't feel the wake.
All right.
You got your goods and your bads. If you grew up in a city, this place might scare you. If you grew up in the country, you might think to yourself, "This is an awesome place," and it's. I could see it growing on me.
Low Ready says, "Hey Mike, what's your fuel burn? It's less than a mile on a gallon now. I'm fixing my next stop, probably Savannah. I'm gonna change out spark plugs. I've had other things. I've been wanting to do it, but other things pushing. I think that'll help.
Somebody's
step me
got a
up.
dirty bottom.
Yeah, and I do got a dirty bottom.
He's got to scrub this bottom.
This girl's got a dirty bottom. I got to work on her.
You're talking about
Yeah.
that girl at the post office? Or?
She probably got a dirty bottom.
Oh.
Hey, I think my battery's getting low here. Hey, this is for you. Ray Womack says, how much to put a shoe on head and show your feet?
A shoe on head.
Show your feet. Some people got foot fetish, Marty.
Come on now. A shoe on head. I can't read that.
Am I reading it wrong?
Where is it? How much to put a shoe on head? Show feet.
I don't know how to answer that, bro.
I'm
That's for
confused.
Marty. Come on, man.
Is it for me?
No.
That's for you, dude. That's
You
for
got that's not where you're going to winter at. No, we don't.
Is that $5? Did you give money?
Yeah, you did.
$5. Thank you, Ray.
Thank you, Ray.
A shoe
I see they're economical purchases, but economical to run. I see they are economical to purchase. That's correct. You can get big boats. Like I don't know. I've said it on there. We've said it. I bought Good Times for $5,000, but she was in pretty bad shape. Did a lot of work to her, everything on the inside, put the new motors in. But I actually just watched a video about that, and sometimes you can get a boat for free, but it ain't worth it. If you can't get it to where you are so that you can work on it, and I'm just being straight up with you because people fall into this trap all the time, and they buy the boat and they think they're going to do this and they're going to do that. Unless you live where the boat is or can have it transported to your house, and I transported Good Times
Or you
to
can
my
live
house.
on it.
Or live on it. Exactly.
Cheaper to live on a boat.
Yes, that's a good way of doing it. But
If
what
you
I'm
don't have a
telling you is a lot of people buy boats and then they can't get the project done for many reasons. They can't.
Yeah.
The marinas cost too much. Just it goes on and on and on.
I've done a lot of things to my boat, and one of the things that scares me is redoing the wiring completely. I'm a meticulous person. I'm very patient, but oh my gosh, I can't imagine doing that. If you can't do it yourself, forget about it.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: is you might get a boat that's sunk, and all the wires have tasted salt water, and then they raise the boat up, and the wires aren't bad yet. But you'll find that months after the boat sunk,
My battery's
months after the battery, the boat sunk, you might find that all of a sudden your wiring harness is going to pot and has to be replaced. That's a big concern if you find a boat that's real cheap that has already sunk. So I wouldn't buy a boat that's sunk.
Yeah.
But again, if you want to commit and live on a boat, it's cheaper than a house.
No doubt about it.
Oh yeah. But if you want a boat as a toy, you better have some money, because it's going to be very demanding. And as you're mowing your grass and taking care of the leaky roof and doing all of the things at your house, your boat is going to be like, hello, you need to take care of me. And unless you live on it, it's extremely difficult. So kudos to anybody that does that type of thing.
D'Artagnan asked a question, and my computer just died, so that means about time to finish up. I can look at it on here.
He's going to poke you.
I know, I'm going to poke you. Stand by. I'll try not to poke you too much. It's going to be the last question.
All right.
D'Artagnan asked, he was asking, ask Marty about the Predator. Mine ran for 2 hours and never again.
What?
The initial fuel may be 10% ethanol. What's he talking about?
Oh, so he ran ethanol fuel in his. I've got Predator generators. They're equivalent supposedly to the Hondas. They're 2,000 watt generator inverters. If yours stop running, check your oil level. You got to take the side panel off, and if the oil level's just a little bit low, when you go to pull it, it'll start and then shut off, and you'll see the little light that comes on that says oil. I've had it happen to mine. They're so finicky. If I would change one thing about that generator, I would have a bigger reservoir for oil so that you didn't have to be so particular. So hopefully that's it. Otherwise, go back to Harbor Freight and give them hell.
Yeah, they're pretty good about returning stuff.
Yep.
I mean, there's a lot of people return stuff. They buy it like that intentionally.
I bought 2 Predator 2000 watt generator inverters. One of them, I've had to change or fill the oil like 3 times. So I might have a small leak somewhere or something. So hopefully that's the issue. You have a Honda, and we're having trouble getting it started. I checked the oil on his, and his was low.
Yep.
And
which was probably my fault because I had changed the oil,
yep.
And I guess I might have had an air bubble in there. When I filled it, I could see it, but it probably went down. And I thank God he was, because remember, like when you put something in or whatever,
yep.
You think you know, and the fresh eyes looked at it and said, no, it needs oil.
Yep.
And solved the problem. Thank God I didn't blow it up.
It went from not starting to pull the thing and right back to life.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Sometimes the fresh set of eyes is the
yes.
key
Whether you're talking about a generator or a boat or electronics or.
Yeah. Sometimes it's the simple. Remember.
I might be like, hey, we got plenty of beer, and you're like, no, we don't. We gotta go get more beer. And I'm like, I didn't see that because my eyes didn't see it.
All right, guys, we're gonna wrap it up. So today is.
Speaking of which.
Today is.
Thursday.
Tuesday.
I don't know.
Tuesday.
Is it
so I would love to get moving Friday. We both got some stuff coming in here at the marina. Oh, I didn't even say.
I hope I get my anchor.
I dropped the Mercury off for the dinghy. It's at a shop around the corner, so that could have something to do with it.
Yeah, we let an expert look at it.
Yep. So hopefully the expert can solve it without too much
expense. You got to do that.
Yep. I've had many people give me ideas. Y'all know on here, tons of people. I've tried everything that's pretty much.
It's hard to sift through opinions, though. Sometimes
yeah, it is
when they don't work.
Well, and it's not that people don't sometimes have good. It's they don't have all the information. We hadn't told you everything.
Sure.
So some of the things you're suggesting, we've already done.
Yep.
And that's talking about sifting through, trying to figure out.
Yes. If you ever tried to find an answer on a forum. You see all the threads on these forums about how to catch a fish or how to get an outboard motor to run. There's a lot to sift through that doesn't pertain to you. It might work in one situation, yes, fine, but in your situation, not so much. So it gets to the point where you can't do it no more. And our next step is to buy one. I even told Mike, I was like, dude,
I've been looking. I've already been looking.
And we can't find outboards. Like I sold my 9.9 to a very fortunate fella for a good price. I had a brand new 9.9. Spent $1,700 on it. Barely broke it in. Came with an external gas tank. That thing hummed. Coleman, Parson, whoever the maker was, it depends on which label you look at. My Parson / Coleman's doing fantastic. I had a brand new one. And now I'm chomping at the bit. I wish I had that.
Yeah, that'd have been a good one.
Yep.
It's going to be windy out. It's windy. I don't know if y'all can hear it blowing.
You gonna take people for a walk?
Yeah, I'll do a quick 360.
Right. Cool.
And
let's go check it out.
Yep, it's pretty cool out. It's a really nice marina. Very inexpensive. Let me turn the camera around here.
We'll go back. I'll take you.
All right, safe. All right, so look how windy it is.
We got a log jam next to you.
Yeah, this happens. Y'all see that? Log jam. I'll step down in the dock. Maybe you won't hear, the wind won't be so bad. Stuff builds up down here. I don't know if you can see it. You can see the wind blowing out. So all that stuff. So I gotta clean that out. So today I got the winch working, as I said. So now I'm fixing to throw this back down over. It's 30 feet here. The deck goes in the chain locker. So Yeah, this is Dallas Bluff Marina in Sherman's Bluff. Nice grass flats for as far as you can see. This river was called the Sapelo Sound, and the Sapelo River is just to so they like it because they can get off. Nice sound that way. It goes up a long ways, but it gets shallower as it goes up. This current rips through here though.
Yeah.
It rips. Very soon we're getting back to it. Things are working well. You know what? It's gonna be a good time.